Hey, Forrest here. Nothing like getting paid. And with ICCU's mobile app, I can deposit checks or accept Zelle payments so the money hits my account fast. I just wish there was an app for mowing the rest of these lawns.
Right now, Lithia Ford of Boise is buying used vehicles. How much you want for the SUV?
I don't know.
Well, Lithia Ford will give you more than that.
How much more?
More than you think.
I'm not thinking anything.
I'm thinking you might get even more than that. See how much more you can get at Lithia Ford of Boise.
When it comes to concrete, we've got you covered. RowPaint.com offers custom concrete coating services for your garage, business, warehouse, and more. And we do it in one day. We are your complete concrete coatings solution.
This is Bronco Nation News Live. The best interviews, the most informed opinions, the latest breaking news. It's Mondays with Mallory with KTIK 95.3 FM The Ticket's John Mallory. Listen to Idaho Sports Talk with Prater in the Ballgame weekdays from 3 to 6 on 95.3 FM The Ticket and online at KTIK.com. Today's broadcast is coming from the Cutwater Spirits Canned Cocktails Studios. Check out one of their more than 30 flavors of pre-mixed premium cocktails at your local gas station or grocery store. Now, here's Johnny Ballgame and BJ Rains with another edition of Bronco Nation News Live.
Hey, how we doing, Boise State fans? Happy Wednesday to you. Not Mondays with Mallory, but Wednesdays with Mallory here as he has come off the bench to help us out for a Wednesday edition here at Bronco Nation News Live at bronconationnews.com. Johnny, always appreciate it. Sorry you had to get up a little earlier on a Wednesday, but appreciate you, man. How's it going?
It's going well. Went to the Boise Hawks game last night, opening night. Little baseball in Boise. It was fun to see. It was a good crowd out there. Beautiful weather for baseball. It's only like in the low 70s. So it was awesome out there and ready to go here on a Wednesday with you and little Idaho Sports Talk in the afternoon. Let's do it.
Based on your pictures, you were moving around the stadium. You were down by the bullpen. You were down in the Coors Light porch area. You were checking out the whole stadium last night, man. It
gave it the whole walk around, took some pictures, and
nothing better than an evening at the ball yard, man. Boise Hawks. We got the Meridian Youth Baseball night at the Hawks tomorrow night, I believe. So we'll be out there checking it out. Gary Ventil, I know you guys had him on your show. Good dude, rooting for the Hawks this year. Mike Van Heist, the whole crew. So looking forward to getting out there for some Hawks games this year. Johnny, also looking forward. If we're not going to have quite the viewership that we had yesterday. No offense, but we made some big news yesterday with the announcement of the Tyson Degenhart show. So hopefully folks will check that out. It starts June 5th with Leon Rice as the first guest. And then Marlene Tromp, Jeremiah Dickey, and Talon Green are the first 4 guests on the show. I'm looking forward to this. Thank you to Idaho Central Credit Union and Johnny. Tyson Degenhart interviewing Talon Green. That could be fun.
Tyson Degenhart making his debut as a host. So he is actually hosting this show. He's going to lead.
We're gonna ease into that part. We're gonna ease into that part of it. It's gonna be me and him co-hosting to start with. But yeah, once he gets a little more familiar, hopefully by episode 4, that would be the goal, is for me to not be on camera as much. Definitely.
Gotcha, man. Yeah, that's gonna be popular. Well done on your end there, and everybody loves Tyson Degenhart. Sounds like he's gonna get the best guests out there too. So that's probably a step in the right direction for BNN, man. No question.
I'm not sure why, but people are in a good mood wanting to thank us, Johnny, this morning on the ICCU YouTube chat. Happy Wednesday, Dennis says. So thankful for all of you. Really enjoy everything you do for Bronco Nation. Let's have a great show. Kurt Blake is saying good morning to everyone. Alexandra Lambert watching from Iowa this morning. So Alexandra, appreciate you for tuning in from Iowa, which in Missouri, Johnny, gets mistaken a lot for Idaho. I don't know why, but when you say Idaho and you're in Missouri, when I telling people they think Iowa, Idaho, I don't know why they're nothing alike and nothing near each other, but somehow people always screw that up. I don't know why,
yep.
But they do.
Things.
But Alexander, appreciate you for watching, Johnny. We've reached the final 3 of our countdown. It's been a fun series, 20 shows in May, and it's worked out really nicely with the timing. Just to kind of look at some of the storylines, topics on the Boise State football team heading into 2023. We'll have 3 months to keep hammering home these topics as we get close to kickoff. I think we're about 100 days. Is tomorrow 100 days, I believe, as long as the game stays on Saturday. September 3rd, Johnny. I think tomorrow might be 100 days since from the Washington game. So we're getting closer and closer, slowly but surely. I think sometime either today, maybe, or tomorrow, or early next week. We're within a week. I think it's coming any day now. The TV schedule. So we're going to find out if any games change days. We're going to find out the times for a couple of the first few games. I know that ESPN has said next Wednesday, so a week from today, they'll announce the first 3 weeks of their schedule, and that's expected to include the Washington-Boise State game. CBS Sports and Fox do their packages with the Mountain West separately, so that could come today, tomorrow, anytime. Stay on the lookout for that. Dylan Cooper does say we're 101 days, Johnny, from that Washington game. So tomorrow we hit day 100. But been a fun series. We've talked a lot of topics. Yesterday, Jay and I talked about the running back situation. I know you're a big we briefly, I think I asked you about it at the end on Monday, but I know you're a big Ashton Genty guy. I think that's going to be interesting to watch. We're going to talk Taylon Green on Friday. We got Bush Hamden. We might hit you on here at the end because that's tomorrow's topic. But today's topic, Johnny, I think is just big picture. Boise State football. Where do they sit, nationally? I guess in the conversation, just, in the headlines, in the talk amongst, college football people, in the rankings, in the Group of Five race, in the Mountain West race. I know we're talking about a tough early season schedule here, Johnny, but what's your first thought on just the expectations and where Boise State fits in nationally this year?
Obviously, with the loss of UCF, Houston, and Cincinnati to the Big 12, I mean, that opens up a big window, I think, for Boise State to take advantage and get the Group of Five championship belt back, right? I mean, you look at nine and then the 9-year history of the New Year's Six CFP system. I think 7 of the 9 Group of Five New Year's Six bowl bids have went to the American. The only other 2, right, was it Western Michigan and PJ Fleck and Brian Harsin? PJ Fleck. Did I say that right? Is that the coach?
PJ Fleck, Western Michigan. Yeah.
And I think it was Boise State in 14, right? I mean, the Americans just dominated that format. They get it almost.
The Sun Belt never got one.
No, and neither did the MAC. I'm sorry, they got Western Michigan. Neither did Conference USA. I'm sorry. Yeah, the MAC was the only other one that did with Western Michigan. So yeah, man, it's like that domination. If you look at most of the teams, were those 3 teams that left. I know Memphis got into one, Tulane got into one.
Yeah.
Other than that, I mean, Houston got there, UCF went to multiple, Cincinnati went to multiple. With those teams out, it feels like the opportunity is there for Boise State. Like I said, the championship belt, to get that back in the Group of Five, right, BJ? And get back in somewhat of a national conversation regarding going to a major bowl game. I think that's been the worst thing about the program, sadly, for the last few years, is they don't get any more national buzz. And when they do, it's for the wrong reasons. Oh, what's going on with Boise State? You hear every now and again from a big national talking head or analyst or whatever. Wow, well, Boise State, like, it's never a good thing anymore when they're mentioned, it feels like. And the bottom line is they've had opportunities to win big games in the last several years, and they haven't won the games in the frequency that they did in the past, right? Losing to Oklahoma State on the blue a couple of years ago, BJ, losing the opener to UCF a couple of years ago, BJ. I mean, these were big, marketable, marquee games for this program, and they weren't able to get it done. That needs to change this year. Fact of the matter is, no one on a national perspective is going to pay much attention to what happens in the Mountain West. So you have to go outside of the league to, make some noise in that regard. And this year they will have that opportunity to do that. This is a big year, and this is the last year of this current system. And I know this fan base, and I know Jeremiah, everybody is itching to get Boise State back on that national stage. It won't be easy, but that's obviously the goal. That goal has not changed in this town, that's for sure.
No disrespect to these teams, Johnny, but it is kind of jarring to think about when you look at like the updated kind of preseason, way too early top 25 rankings that ESPN has out right now. They've got 2 non-Power 5 teams in there, and it's Tulane and UTSA.
Wow.
I mean, What was the day that the UTS? I mean, you would never think the UTSA Roadrunners would be ranked in a top 25 ahead of a Boise State.
And Tyreek Woolen, my boy, a former Roadrunner himself. But you know what? Here's what the Roadrunners have done. They've just won a lot of games.
They were 11-3 last year. Sorry to cut you off. 8-0 in Conference USA last year.
They win conference championships, and now they're in the American. Mike Oresco, the American commissioner, I know he gets rated often, and he does a pretty good job of finding the next best group, and the American always kind of stays afloat and survives. This year, they're really pumping up Tulane and SMU in that league. I don't know their non-cons exactly. A lot of it might come down to that, but yeah, that's funny. Those two teams are ranked, and Boise State, nowhere to be found. Maybe had Boise State beat Fresno at home in a cold Mountain West championship game last year, maybe Boise State gets some preseason love on that for what they were able to do in the bowl game. But they're starting from scratch this year. I like what they have coming back. We've talked about it a lot, at least, especially on offense. And this is a big opportunity for Boise State heading into a new era next year with the 12-team playoff to kind of put a stamp and say, hey, we went to the first Group of 5 New Year's 6 bid when this system started, and we went to the last, right? 2014, and then it would be this year, 2023. And this town, this fan base, they need that big-time bowl game again. It's been too damn long, BJ, too damn long.
Tulane, you mentioned them, their bid was last year, and they had the stunning upset of USC in the that was at the Cotton Bowl, I believe, last year. So they were 12-2. They went 7-1 in the AAC. They bring back, I think, 14 starters, and they lost their top 4 tacklers, I believe, according to the ESPN blurb I'm reading. But they've got Tulane 19th in the country. Again, some of that is based off what they did last year, beating USC and winning the Cotton Bowl. But like I said, I know it's crazy to believe, but is Tulane the team to beat at this point in the Group of 5?
SMU, Tulane, Boise State. I mean, I don't know if there's that team to beat, BJ. I mean, obviously, as far as the rankings go, sure. I guess Tulane is the clubhouse leader before the season even starts, right? It's their spot to lose. But again, I don't know their non-con. The season is such a long and grueling season, and I'd be pretty darn surprised if Tulane all of a sudden becomes one of these G5 teams that goes to 2 straight New Year's 6 bowl games. I mean, that was Tulane's Fiesta Bowl moment last year. They beat USC, a good USC team, with a Heisman Trophy winning quarterback in the Cotton Bowl. I mean, that's like 07 here in Boise. So I don't know, maybe Tulane can keep this going. Boise State was able to do that over the next kind of era. They used that one big bowl game to kind of launch what they were trying to do. Maybe Tulane can do the same thing and get a group and get a grip and a handle on the American and start dominating that and turn into a pretty good program. I mean, they're down south. They are right there in the recruiting bed, BJ, in the neighborhood of all these SEC kids in programs and where football is such a big deal, and it's right in their backyard. Maybe they were a sleeping giant for a long time, and if they can just get the second and third and fourth level kids down there, those are still pretty good kids when it comes to the G5. So maybe Tulane's starting, but yeah, I guess, sure, I'll give them the nod right now. But Boise State, if they can take care of some business early in the season, I think they can make some noise too.
That's the thing with the schedule. Boise State would certainly have the edge if they can take care of business with the teams they're playing early in the season. And Willie Fritz at Tulane, I think, almost went to Georgia Tech last year. They hung on to him. And by the way, September 9th, Johnny, as Sam points out, September 9th, Tulane is hosting Ole Miss in New Orleans. So they get an SEC school coming down to New Orleans there.
Lane Kiffin's not losing to Tulane. I'll take Ole Miss in that game, but that's kind of like Boise State's probably not going to go up to Seattle and win, right? So Boise State's going to get an early Power 5 loss. Looks like Tulane could have an early Power 5 loss, and they can kind of even Steven that, right? So I don't know if that helps or hurts, but if any of those teams can win that game, oh, hell yeah, you're off and running.
You made the point about just subtraction the teams that left. I mean, just automatically when you lose Cincinnati, you lose Houston, you lose UCF. That takes 3 of the. I mean, Cincinnati. I don't remember. Did Houston get to 1? I know Cincinnati and UCF have obviously been to a lot.
Yes, Houston had that game one year. They beat Florida State.
That's right. So that's 3. All 3 of them have been probably 5 of the last 6 or something that have been 7
of 9. I mean,
those 3 teams. Those 3 teams though. I think
5
was
of them.
5 or 6 maybe
2,
or something.
Maybe even did UCF?
UCF's had 3.
It's okay. Cincinnati at least 2. Then that's 5.
They had 2 in a row, didn't they? Before before last year, I think.
And then Houston 6, and then Memphis would have been
like
the 7th. So stranglehold.
What does the Mountain West do? I know the Mountain West changed, Johnny, to the no divisions this year, so everybody's in one pot. Top 2 teams will play, which I do think has a chance to impact the standings this year. It's not as simple as, you just got to win your division. You're looking at the other side too, saying those are teams you got to beat to be in the top 2. And there's times the last couple of years, Johnny, where Boise State wouldn't have been in the top 2. The 2 teams on the West had better records, or vice versa. What does the Mountain West do? Is it just win more non-conference games? How does the Mountain West, I don't want to say become the American, but get to a point where they can, be a little more relevant here?
Yeah, I like the fact that they scrapped the divisions. I mean, no more Boise State hosting a 6-6 Hawaii team in the Mountain West Conference Championship game, right? That was weak. There were other teams on the other side, Air Force, that probably could have got in that year, maybe even a Wyoming, but that was kind of a joke. So I think the divisional play, scrapping that will help, because you are guaranteed to get your 2 best teams playing for the championship. And hopefully you can say, hey, look at these 2 teams. And if they're both ranked, and sometimes if you go back on history, BJ, you would have 2 ranked teams playing in the Mountain West Conference Championship game. That's what Gloria Nevarez wants, right? And then you can say to the committee, hey, look, we have 2 good teams playing here. The winner of this game should be going to that group of 5 New Year's 6 spot. But I think the league, to be honest, I'm not a big fan of the Mountain West this year. Now, I could be surprised. There could be players there from portal or guys who just get better that we don't know about yet. But, man, the league lost a lot of good players, BJ. And I look at most of those programs that were good last year. I don't think they're as good this year as they will be last year. I think this is kind of an interesting season for the Mountain West, albeit I think Boise State needs to take advantage of that. I think Boise State clearly has the best program in the Mountain West, the best roster this season. So I would love for Boise State, and I know Boise State fans need this, to have one of those years where they kind of go unblemished, run through this league, show your dominance to the committee as well, and say, hey, we want that bid. We want to get back on that national stage. I'm not sure the league, unless I'm really surprised, can go out there. Look, BJ, last year, the Mountain West beat 1 Power 5 team, and it was Air Force beating Colorado. And we know how bad Colorado was last year. I mean, it would be nice if you could say, okay, Mountain West, can you beat 3 or 4 Power 5 teams? I'm sorry. Yeah, Power 5 teams this year? Maybe. The problem is most of those games are on Power 5s in Power 5 stadiums. It's rare that the Mountain West gets that opportunity. Now, Fresno almost had Oregon State last year. There was a couple other instances where, they almost had that opportunity, but they just didn't get it. Hopefully this year it's better. But again, I like the teams in the league last year better than this year. It could be another embarrassing season in the non-con for the Mountain West versus the Power 5. And does the committee look at that? I'd like to think so, right? I would hope the committee was going to say, okay, let's take all these group of 5 conferences. Which conference did best against better competition?
Sure.
So hopefully the Mountain West can take advantage of that. And Boise State, gosh, isn't the most important game of the season UCF week 2?
Yes.
Like the Big 12 team. You're probably going to drop the Washington game. If not, though, I mean, that's the game you have to win. And that'd be a great opportunity for the Mountain West to say, okay, here's a Power 5 victory. We got a team coming to our den, our place, the Blue. That's such a big home opener, man.
Well, you're not getting – the only reason you got them to come is because they were still in the American when you scheduled it. You're not getting Big 12 teams to do home and homes.
Isn't Houston coming too? And they're in the Big 12
and Cincinnati.
Cincinnati. Yeah.
Yeah, all three of those guys are coming, and they wouldn't, and who knows if that actually happens or not, but they wouldn't be coming if they already had the Big 12 patch on when they scheduled the game. I do want to talk about the Mountain West a little more, Johnny, and some predictions that came out yesterday. But first, want to remind you we're broadcasting from the Cutwater Studios. Cutwater Spirits, more than 30 flavors. Check them out at your local gas station or a grocery store. Love the Mai Tai. Probably be having a couple of those, Johnny, out at the golf tournament.
Yeah, you will.
You guys finishing up your show. The last group's finishing up on the hole. We'll be celebrating the end of a good day, hopefully next Friday. Ropaint.com's got the concrete coatings 5 times stronger than epoxy, the one-day install. Check them out. Get a free quote at roepaint.com. Lithia Florida Boise, they're giving away a new Bronco Sport for anyone that gets a hole-in-one at hole 6 out there at Timberstone next Friday. It's grilling season. The weather's heating up. That means the deals are heating up at Lithia Florida Boise. Check them out. View their full inventory of vehicles at lithiafordboise.com. Idaho Central Credit Union, ICCU.com. We announced the big news yesterday with the Tyson Degenhardt show. That's thanks to ICCU. So go support them. They're investing in Tyson Degenhardt, and you can invest in them, return the favor, ICCU.com. You looking for a job? Check out Transportation Compliance Service, transcomservice.com, all the DOT, overweight permits, all the things you need to get out there on the open road, towing that first load in no time. The trucking industry may not have thought of it, but it's booming right now. Check them out, transcomservice.com. And if you're looking for a new Boise State shirt, hat, whatever, the blueandorange.store.com has you covered. The blueandorange.store.com offers free shipping, any order over $40. And if you're in the Boise area, you can just go to the Boise Town Square Mall right there next to Pro Image on the second floor. And Johnny, the Blue and Orange store will be providing the first, second, and third place prizes for the golf tournament. They'll also be providing a prize that I think you're going to be in the mix for, the long drive competition on hole 18. So I think that you may be walking away with a new car, a Blue and Orange store gift card, a free golf glove here, all kinds of goodies, man.
You know what I would love to see the Blue and Orange store do at one point too? Have a selection of Boise State throwback jerseys. I want a Kellen Moore 11 there, right? You can throw an Ian Johnson, a Doug, a Geron. I mean, there's a million players that this program has had. Ryan Winterswike. Like, have a section of just throwbacks, name on the back, all that stuff. I don't know how you work that out or if that's not even possible.
Yeah, I wonder why not. Would Kellen still be the number one purchase?
Yeah, it would. And you get every single color for Kellen, the white, the blue, sadly, the orange that he lost to TCU.
It's got to be like what they call it, the Nike Pro Combat or whatever. Like, yeah, it can't just be this year's version, number 11. It's got to be the one from 12 years ago or whatever.
Yeah, a throwback jersey. Yeah. Zabransky, Ryan Dinwiddie. If I went in there and saw an RD and saw an old school jersey, how it looked then, and saw Ryan Dinwiddie, you know me, I'm a vandal. I've never worn any article of Boise State clothing in my life. That would be really hard for me to not buy the Ryan Dinwiddie throwback.
You did say go Broncos one time on the show, though. I think the Jared Zabransky one would be a cool one too.
I think a lot of them would be.
That's
Fiesta
Bowl.
So many colorful players in the last 15 years, 20 years. Like, you'd have old school people that would want the Tom McMillan. Oh, there's a D Pickett throwback jersey. I want that. So anyway.
All right, get on that Blue and Orange store. I'll reach out to Travis and see what. Yes. Yeah, let's make that happen. Hey, I think you guys probably talked about this on your show yesterday. I'm not sure, Johnny. I apologize. It was a rare day that I couldn't tune in. Aside from, I did hear the Gatlin Bear news. Maybe we should touch on that as well. But what do you make of Athlon Sports, their preseason poll? One of the more reputable preseason kind of guides you pick up at Walgreens, with the Lindy's and all that stuff. They've got Now, they did have 3 first-team running backs, which is a little bit of a stretch. Most have 2. They have 3 first-team running backs from the Mountain West, but they've got Ashton Genty and George Helani on their first-team preseason.
Isn't that funny? Those are the best 2 returning backs in the league, period. End of story. I was talking with my boy Bob Beeler about that, too. He was saying, almost predicting that come media days in July when that team does come out, he expects Boise State to have the 2 running back slots. I mean, maybe the media won't want to do it.
Yeah, I don't think they will. I don't think they will. They'll get Boise State 1. They'll pick somebody else just for the heck of it.
Yeah, that would be the only thing. But if you're going the 2 best backs coming back, I mean, it's so funny. And I'm in the front of the line with the Ashton Genty buzz. I love the kid. I love his style. I love everything I saw about him last year, and I expect him to be better this year. But man, George Holani is flying under the radar for a dude who had 1,300 scrimmage yards last year, 1,100 rushing, a couple hundred receiving, and to bounce back the way he did after 2 down years, and he's not getting much buzz, right? George Holani's a hell of a player, and he's kind of flying under the radar here. So, yeah, Boise State, I love this offense. We've talked about that at length, and I think Athlon's right on. They have the 2 best backs in the league. They just happen to play on the same team.
Now, Andy Avalos did about 10, 15 minutes before our show start send out the bat signal with a tweet. They've added another commitment, another player to this year's 2023 class. So we'll see who that is. I know they're not yet. No, I know they're trying to beef up the defensive line, potentially. Maybe the O-line. There was some talk of a Texas Tech lineman, maybe with some connections to Will Farah, who's now working on the recruiting staff. So maybe they're looking to bulk up the offensive line with a late kind of transfer portal veteran addition, or the D-line. Those would be my 2 guesses, would be somewhere on the line. We'll have to wait and see. But for the future class, Johnny, Gatlin Bear, you guys had him on your show yesterday. Fill everybody in. Big news, and congratulations to you. You guys had the exclusive interview there.
Yeah, he basically said, he did say it's Boise State versus the other 4 in my top 5. He said Boise State will be in my top 2. So he is extremely interested in staying home. You know, he's of LDS faith. He's going on a 2-year mission. Who knows where he's going to go on that mission? Say they send him to South America. You know, he goes to South America for 2 years and he comes back. Maybe he doesn't want to move to Ann Arbor, Michigan when he comes back from his mission. Maybe he doesn't want to move to Lincoln, Nebraska. Maybe he misses Idaho when he's on that 2-year mission. He wants to come home and he wants to play at Boise State. Now, think about this. You can always leave. You can go to Boise State, and if it's not working out the way you want it to work out, you hit the portal, right? I mean, you have options now. These kids do. And I can't believe I'm saying it, but Boise State has a really good shot to get Gatlin Bear, which would be the most sought-after recruit that they've ever received. I mean, Boise State doesn't win recruiting battles with Michigan. In this case, maybe they will. So Boise State fan, I mean, they're going to keep their eye on this. The kid's still a junior, and he does not announce when he's going to commit. I'm sure he'll want to do it like most kids before his senior year starts so he can focus on his team and football. But yeah, dude, Boise State's in the mix. They got a good chance to get Gatlin Bear. And that's what this program needs, BJ. They want to get back to where they were and on a national level and go to the playoffs and all this. So think about this. When Gatlin Bear comes back from the 2-year mission, BJ, the playoff system will already be set. So, I mean, they want to get in that tournament every year. You know, they got to get better players here, and Gatlin Bear would be a heck of a start.
The only downside is he won't get to play with Taylor Green.
Nope. Taylor Green will be totally done. Gatlin Bear has 1 more year of high school and then 2 years for his Mormon mission, and then he'll come back. So he'll be playing with C.J. Tiller or Mad Dog or whoever Boise State has at quarterback there.
I will say this. I mean, there's not a lot of like high-level prospects yearly in the state of Idaho. I mean, just for obvious reasons. I mean, there was a lineman, was it Hodge, that went to like Notre Dame and BYU or something. There was a couple. There was a tight end, I think, from Emmett or something that went to USC one time. But I'm missing some. But there's not a lot. And this is not a hotbed for college football prospects in Idaho.
Loveland went to Michigan a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
But overall, the percentage is just not a lot. You're talking 2 or 3, 4 or 5, maybe a year. There's not a lot. And so, I mean, if you're a Boise State, you got to find a way to, start to keep some more of these in-house. I mean, the top recruit in the state has been leaving, Johnny, more times than not, and not going to Boise State in recent years. So that would send a signal as well if they could pull it off. So great interview. I think the full interview is up on KTIK.com. I believe folks can go on there and download the podcast as well. The KTIK app, iTunes is where I listen to the show, and they had the full interview with Gatlin Bear, I think in the 3rd hour, right? 5:00. So check that out, and great job, Johnny, on that. And appreciate you for jumping in. Again, next Friday, the golf tournament. Would love to see folks out there June 2nd. We got some foursomes available in the afternoon. So was just confirming the bacon order, Johnny. 60 bacon bags being
bacon
delivered.
bags
So you get a bag of bacon with your foursome before the tournament. As well as R&R barbecue and a lot of other great goodies. So thanks, Johnny. We'll see you next. We'll see you Monday. I guess no show Monday. We got to talk about that. I guess maybe we can sneak in Wednesday instead of Monday next week with Memorial Day. So have a great rest of your day. We'll be listening 3 to 6. Johnny Prater, JP Bob, the whole gang, KTIK Idaho Sports Talk, and we'll talk to you later. Bronco Nation News Live, BroncoNationNews.com.